Jacob Grimm is finally here, and I'm so excited for you all to read this book. But I will tell you, this book went through a journey. Now, you all know that I love to plot my novels. Like, that's the thing. Like, it takes me time to do it. I spend a long time plotting my books, brainstorming, thinking of ideas, and really pushing each idea that's in the story, pushing each plot line, pushing each twist, and all the world building. But this one, I had heard an author talk that you should try some new things and something different. So I thought, I should try something different. I've never pantsed a novel before. Maybe I should try. Okay, well, 6 years later, the book is done. Usually it takes me about a year to write a book. This did not take me a year. It was a train wreck, y'all. It was a train wreck. I started writing. I'm like, yay, I'm going to write a book. It's great. I have some ideas in my head. It's going to be fabulous. And I just started sitting down and writing and blah, 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 blah. I got to about page 100 and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so bad. Like, there are so many cliches in this. It's so predictable. I feel like I've read this before. I feel like I've seen this before. And I don't know what my characters are doing. And there's no twists and it's just bad, right? So we have to delete those pages. They're gone. They're finished. And I start again. I'm like, okay, I gotta do it again, right? So I start again. Again, it was bad. Threw all those pages out. I don't know how many words I've deleted at this point, but definitely probably, by the time I finished the whole thing, I probably have deleted 100,000 words and rewrote another 100,000 words, right? This is not normal for me. Usually I write a book and it's pretty good. It was not good. So I finally said, you know what? This pantsing thing does not work for me. I have to plot the book out because otherwise it's just so predictable. There's so many problems. Okay, now let me kind of explain to you why I have to plot my novels. Now, if I have like pants some screenplays, some kind of like Hallmark screenplays that were really a lot easier. Like the plot line was a lot simpler. There wasn't a lot of twists. There wasn't a massive amount of world building involved. It was a lot simpler plot. So I think it can work if you have a very simple plot or if your book is quite short. Like I did pants my novella. It's only 25,000 words. It was pretty, I kind of had it all in my head. It was all figured out. I had already written some other books in the series, so it was good. So I think pantsing can work in those situations for me. But when I'm writing a book that's over 100,000 words, I need to plot it. Now, let me kind of show you why, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, whatever. Well, I'm going to show you more detail what I'm talking about. Now, first of all, these are kind of all the big elements in the story that I have. Now, the first element is my personal travels, and that's like where I started writing the story. So this is my personal travels, and I have to bring this into every one of my books. Almost all my books are based on travels that I do. So I like to bring those elements into my story. Readers will never know that these certain things are in there, but it's just a me thing, right? So all my books have to have that. And of course, this is a Cinderella retelling. So I have my Cinderella. Well, first, before I get to Cinderella, I have Ella. This is just her story, right? So Ella's story, she starts off, right? And then it's building throughout the story. Then we have here, and then we have there, right? That's kind of like her plot line will look like by the time I was finished. And then we have Jacob. He's another character. So his story starts kind of like this, and then goes down, and then it kind of goes up, and then it kind of goes up, and his goes down too, and then down some more. Poor Jacob. And then we go back up, right? So that's Jacob. And then we've got the historical element, because I actually based this story on Jacob Grimm. So even though it's not really, I'm not calling it historical. Originally it had started out as a historical novel, but I'm like, it's not quite working. So it's not really historical, but then I have this whole historical element that's brought into the story. And so that's in there too, that plot line. Now I also have the Cinderella retelling. This is almost true to the Grimm Cinderella. Like, I stick pretty hardcore to it. So it kind of follows the same plot line like Cinderella does, but that one kind of just happily goes up. It doesn't do any weird things like mine does. Because, I like to do weird things. All right, and then of course we have lots of other characters in the book. Like there's lots of characters and they all have their own stuff happening, and that's just all their stuff going on through the story, right? On top of this, this is actually a series. Now, every book is a standalone. So I have to make sure that you can read this book and not read any others and be completely happy. You can read every book out of order, be completely happy. But if you read them in order or different ways, you would see it is a series and they all are connected. So that's another thing I like to do. Not easy. So this is going on, and that's going to go up here. And then, of course, we have, I thought it was 12 fairy tales, the Grimm fairy tales, but it's actually 13 Grimm fairy tales in the story. So now we have this going on here, right? And this is just my plot lines. This has nothing to do with character arcs or the world or the fantasy elements. Those are all different things that I have to work and build and plot, right? These are just like the plot lines. So do you see what I'm talking about? This is not something that I can just pants. Obviously, I couldn't pants this. I didn't. It was impossible for me. I had to sit down. I had to plot it out. Once I finally got my words, all the words and everything was working, it came out to be about 115,000 words, 110,000, I can't remember exactly. 12, maybe it was 112,000 words. But I wanted it to be tighter. Like I want my writing to be like, you have to turn the page, like you can't stop. Like that's kind of my style. I don't want you feeling like you're wandering around and, I want it to be intense, like you can't put the book down. So I deleted 10,000 words, 10,000 more words of the book to make it tight and really like riveting. So like, I hope it's riveting. So that's kind of my journey. And when people like, why do you plot? Well, this is why I plot. This is a pretty typical look at how I write my stories. They're intense, they're exciting, I hope, and they are not always simple, and because of that, I have to plot. So, if you're a pantster but you want to do this, you know what? You might have to write that whole book. You might have to write the whole thing, throw it out again and again and again. I had to throw it out twice, and I finally broke down and said, I'm not doing this. I'm going to plot it out. And, it's up to you how you want to do it. If I had started out plotting the book, would it be the same book? Maybe not the same book, but it wouldn't have taken me 6 years. Would it have been better? I don't know. I think maybe it'd been the same. Maybe it'd been the same type of book. We got to the same point. It's just to get to that same point, to get to this moment, it took a long time. Like instead of taking a year, it took 6. And so, yeah, that's the journey. That's the journey of To Love a Grimm. I am just so happy we finally did it. We had to delete hundreds of thousands. I feel like that's 100,000 words. Probably just 100,000 words I had to delete. But we had to delete a lot of words, but we did it. We made it, and now it's for here. Mwah! You did it, and I'm so happy with it. And now I'm going to write the sequel. And I will be plotting that sequel because it's just as complicated, if not more. And it's going to be unique. It's going to be awesome. And I am so excited for that one too. So thanks for listening about my journey. A little painful journey, but we did it.